Hello, I hope you're doing well. Welcome back to more League of Legends news out there. I hope you guys all enjoyed. During today's episode, we're going to timestamp down below if you guys want to jump around to whatever we're going to talk about. The first of which going to break down Sylas. If you're wondering, it does sound familiar to Sylar. They changed an entire letter there. Thanks to a 100 Thieves support member, William Chen, coming out on Twitter pretty much right away at the release of this champion so far. Sylas is a lot like Sylar, the change of one letter there from the NBC TV show, that being Heroes. So are there legal issues there? Well, we're going to find out very shortly. Most likely not. That's not the hype around this new champion. The long laundry list continues of mimic heroes out there, or mimic champions out there. This one, though, with a brand new ability to mimic the ultimate ability itself. With that being his ult is going to be called Hijack. He can take any champion ultimate and make it his own, which is obviously a pretty crazy feature. A lot of question marks out there, some of which we'll talk about today that have been confirmed by Riot members. The first of which, guys, is actually thanks to Vanderbilt. I'll link his YouTube video down below because Giant Sylas is actually a possibility. Stealing Shogath, Nasus, or Renekton, their ultimate abilities will create a gigantic Sylas, so obviously very funny to see. But alongside that, guys, a brand new range of abilities that are certainly going to need to be tested out to see how they fit in to this new meta. So his Q is going to be Chain Lash. He hits the ground, forms an X. Any champions actually hit with that initial magic damage will be dealt to them. Alongside that, also a slow. If they're still in that X after a set period of time, a very short period of time, additional magic damage will be dealt. Now his W is going to be a player dash. He can actually dash to enemy targets and do initial damage to them. Alongside that, if the enemy champions are actually below 40% health, additional damage is done. Now his E is probably most important so far in terms of how it's going to combo out with his W. His E can actually dash him to a certain location, also give him shield like a Braum ability, but his recast of that E can actually send him to an enemy champion. If it does hit, it also acts as a knockup with additional damage. So you can imagine the combination between W, you can dash to an enemy champion, alongside that cast your E for the first time and actually dash away, and you can actually dash back with a recast. It's going to be very cool to see how these combinations do work out. And very lastly, of course, we talked about his ult so far, Hijacked, which actually, thanks to some Reddit forums out there as well as some Riot employees, will confirm right now how these might work out against certain champions. We're going to wait for more updates on other champions out there because just like Nico, there's a lot of question marks in terms of playability because some obviously champions have some useless ults out there. Here's how it's going to work specifically against a few champions. So huge thanks to Riot Ursloth who actually take to Reddit to actually kind of clarify how these will work. For Nidalee and Elise, you can actually hijack their ults. It will give you their alternate forms. So you can actually reactivate your own ult to return to your original form. So I would say pretty much useless unless you want to be a tiger as well as a spider, but you will get Nidalee's ult abilities as well. So you can QWE in that form until you recast your ult as Sylas, then you'll actually return to Sylas' original form. For Karma and Heimerdinger, it's a bit different. You actually get one of their boosted QWE abilities. Then for Teemo and Corki, you get a full clip of their ult, so 7 Corki rockets or 3 Teemo shrooms. And then, well, for Zoe, as expected, a useless ult for this form, at least it seems. For Sylas, you jump forward and then you jump back again. So I cannot wait to see how other champions do react to this as well. Of course, once it does reach the actual live game, we're going to figure that out. But again, thanks to Slug for taking to Reddit to actually clarify some of these things. And again, we have to wait for actual team members on the specific team to actually clarify what this will do. So some big updates, guys. Will this be meta changing? Well, we're going to have to wait to see how it plays out. But alongside that, of course, patch 9.1. Let's break it down here really fast because, to be quite honest, nothing too huge unless you're Sejuani main, but let's break it down first of all with Kalista. And the biggest change I saw for Kalista would be her E, that being now only doing just 50% damage to epic monsters. So when it comes to claiming kills, probably going to affect pro play maybe a little bit. Also slight balances though in the opposite direction in terms of buffs to her attack speed, damage growth, and her base attack damage. So I wouldn't say overall anything too substantial for Kalista users. Ornn though actually saw substantial changes to his a little bit of a rework here. Actually now past level 13, he can actually upgrade any upgradable or purchasable item for free for himself, as well as 1 teammate item for each teammate at past level 14. So definitely substantial changes because the list has now been added, guys. 4 new items he can actually upgrade for his teammates. The 2 biggest ones probably Might of the Ruined King as well as Luden's Pulse. Pretty self-explanatory. Late game, that's very effective. Also saw a pretty large reduction in mana for his Q, and he is now unstoppable during his W, Bellows Breath. So definitely some pretty big solid changes here and improvements for Ornn users. Alongside that, guys, some sizable buffs to base health, armor growth, and magic resist, all for, yeah, you heard it here first. Well, you didn't hear it first. Sejuani mains actually should rejoice because Sejuani is now apparently, well, a damage champion. Increased damage on both her W and E, with W damage scaling from 60 to 180 before. It is now 80 to 240. So definitely substantial there, but her ult has been slightly nerfed in both range and duration. But again, after reading this, it was pretty crazy. A huge buff to damage. It was actually previously 20 to 80 damage, and now it scales 40 to 200, which is, I I honestly didn't even know if I read it right the first time. So Sejuani solo players, if you can truly play Sejuani, this is an absolutely huge buff. And again, kind of a tough champion for some people to play in solo queue, but if you can play him right, this is a huge change. And then a bunch of minor changes, other champions out there. The two other substantial ones, I would say Nasus, his Q stacks against large minions as well as large epic monsters has now been doubled from 6 stacks to 12. So definitely going to be substantial if you want to try and jungle Nasus. Will it be still viable? It's still in a question. We'll have to see how it plays out, but definitely a step in the right direction for anyone who wants to try jungle Nasus out. And very lastly, Vayne, during that, of course, that final hour, guys, her Q, her tumble has now been reduced in terms of time reduction or reduction on that ability by 50%. So you can enjoy tumbling a bit more during that final hour. You can imagine though, late game, especially if you get a kill or two, that can be pretty substantial, extending that final hour out by another few seconds and be able to tumble all the more down the map. But as always, my name is Jake. I hope you guys all enjoy this episode of League of Legends news out there, and also stop by next week or in 2 weeks, guys. Of course, we have brand new leagues starting up and spring season underway. I cannot wait to break that down, and we will be doing highlight videos on this channel. So hope you guys are all excited, because we'll be touching a lot of trades out there, and a lot of teams are in some weird states. So I cannot wait to see how these teams play out, guys. I'm excited for spring season and excited to cover it all for you guys here on the Esports Talk channel. As always, my name is Jake. I'll see y'all next time. Goodbye.